bum, 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 bum. Isn't it just, I don't know, you guys are probably not old enough to have that take you back the way it does me. That's exactly what it was like working for General Cinema, that playing every single time. It was just, yeah, doji. That's why I pulled it out there. So obviously, I'm talking about Lincoln. You can see from the thumbnail and the little image at the bottom. And the 2012 Spielberg film, I want to talk about it because it's almost Abraham Lincoln's birthday. It's almost President's Day. I thought, well, now's as good a time as any time to do a little rewatch of this film. And this is one of those films that when it came out, I was very excited about. An interesting biography done by Spielberg, something that could really be, I want to say definitive, or the film that we would all talk about, or maybe even like watch regularly. And I included it in the TBT umbrella, but I wanted TBT Throwback Thursdays to be a lot more about positive films. And it is a great film, but it's also a very bland film, right? The film is very narrow in its scope and perspective. So if you love dialogue-driven films and you love great performances, then this can be a film for you. If you're for some action and very insightful or something like that, this is not the film for you. This is really only like a very few months in Lincoln's life where he's trying to wrap up the war and get the 13th Amendment through the House of Representatives. This jockeying for power, this constant, do I have votes? How do I get votes? If the war ends, what happens? Those kinds of things. The reason I at least wanted to at least mention it, because I did a rewatch of this, and I will say, sure, Daniel Day-Lewis's performance is truly amazing, and he really becomes this, I'm going to call it out. It's like a caricature of Lincoln, because I don't know that we totally get how and what Lincoln was really like. We have pieces of that story, but it's very much the way that we thought we knew a lot more about what Ronald Reagan was like. And then we read all these biographies and behind the scenes things, and we see a different person. It's happened with other presidents in modern times, like even George W. Bush was he comes across this way, the media painted him this way. Then you read this and you're like, well, it's a little bit different than that. But I will say this, it's the Lincoln that everybody wants to be. And maybe this film is more folklore than historical fact. I'm not going to go there. But the one thing about this film that is really just kind of forgotten is how amazing the cast is. The cast is truly, it's just a remarkable cast and performances. Tommy Lee Jones plays Thaddeus Stevens, and he is truly amazing. He really, really is. I will tell you, Tommy Lee Jones, I think he was nominated for an Oscar. He didn't win that year. Sally Field was nominated for her role as the wife. And I think that there's plenty of elements with Mary that are fine. It just nothing. There's not anything. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays the son Robert, who wants to go into the war. You have all sorts of different characters that kind of play out. But even Adam Driver, who's the telegraph operator, is in this. Jared Harris is Grant. You have I don't know. There's I think David Oyelowo is one of the corporals. There's a great cast of folks that are in this. Of course, in the House of Representatives, you have Lee Pace. You have Hal Holbrook, who is one of the Republicans. James Spader, Tim Blake Nelson is in this film. Jackie Haley Earl is one of the Confederate state VPs. Or it's the Confederate VP. So it's really the cast and the performances that make this film worthy of consideration of your time. But obviously with this weekend, with our holiday, we honor President's Day, Lincoln's birthday. I thought it was worthy of at least trying to make note and mention of this film. It's been over 10 years now. And I think that it was not as definitive as I hope it would. I really think I enjoyed rewatching, because I rewatched Glory. don't know that I really have much to say about Glory either. Again, it's just so performance driven. Like we just end up having these films that just really get us down the road of a good film. But I don't know that it can be rewatchable, but it's not something that's going to transcend culture and become sort of a phenomenon, because it just centers around something that is not action driven. It's very small and very narrow. Lincoln is showcased very well as being a very smart man, and there are some great jokes. Like I love the no, you got to stop talking. You're going to tell one of your stories, aren't you? And it's really a funny scene because it just shows that this is what we can pull from his writings. It's like he was very much into anecdotes and stories to kind of help illustrate his points and perspectives of things. He was very smart and well read. He's a lawyer, so of course he knew how to, for lack of a better term, manipulate and move the ball in different ways. And I will say that it is very interesting to see a film try to depict how they didn't trust Lincoln, how there really is sort of this back and forth about all of that. And then of course that you culminate the film obviously with Ford's Theater, and they're watching different, the president, when he gets shot, it's a very difficult topic. But it is the kind of thing where the film is meant to be like a folklore piece, in my opinion. So I don't know, am I off base? But I think that's the best way to express the film. It's more like a folklore film. It's very, very well executed. Daniel Day-Lewis is just immersive as the role. Their other characters I think are great, have great lines. I like the fact that it kind of conveys some of the vitriol and the animosity towards one another, because we act like politicians being mean or talking about that. We don't even skirt everyone is so easily offended now. This was the commonplace back in the day, but as I've always said, they have more common with each other than they do us, so keep that in mind. So anyway, that's my take on this. It's kind of a secondary TBT. It's not my primary, because I wanted to kind of like, this film is definitely not for everyone, but it has its place depending on what you're into. So I'm Pops. Thank you so much for your time. Tell me what you guys think.